Hi, my name is Val, and today we're going to be examining and discussing the article Explaining White Privilege to a Broke White Person by Gina Crossley Cochran. Gina Crossley Cochran is a feminist who grew up in a poor family that endured many hardships, both financially and socially. Gina was able to break this chain and went on to attend college and marry a privileged middle-class educated male. Gina explains an encounter in which she was told she was privileged. Privilege is the idea that an individual has a special right or advantage due to qualities such as their race, gender, or sex. This feminist believed that because Gina is white, she is then considered privileged. Gina, after taking offense to this response, replied that she came from the kind of poor that you don't want to believe still exists in this country. Later on in the article, she states, recognizing privilege simply means being aware that some people have to work much harder just to experience the things that you take for granted, if they ever can experience them at all. I agree with this, as not everyone is given equal opportunities in life. I also agree it is really hard for one to accept and consider the privilege that they might have. Because privilege is not black or white, it is always possible to have or lack privilege throughout different parts of one's life. This type of system can be analyzed through intersectionality. Intersectionality is the identification of how different categories of inequality and privilege intersect to shape experiences. This helps explain Gina's argument that intersectionality allows people to be privileged in some ways, but not in others. For example, she states that she is privileged as a natural-born white citizen and a cisgender woman. Cisgender meaning that her gender corresponds to her sex. Even though she grew up in extreme poverty, as she came from a family where people didn't even graduate high school, she still has privilege in her life. Status can greatly impact intersectionality and the privilege that one has or doesn't have. Status is the recognizable social position that an individual occupies. There are three main types of status: ascribed, achieved, and mastered. Ascribed status is a status that you are born with. It is unlikely to change throughout your life. For me, an example of this is that my dad is from Guatemala, which makes me 50% Hispanic. This is part of my ethnicity, and the percentage will remain the same for the entirety of my life. Another status that I have is achieved status, which is one we earn through our own efforts. I have earned this status of employment as I am an employee at Target and have been for quite some time. Mastered status is a status that seems to override all others in our identities. An example of this would be a mother, father, or teacher. Gina has earned many statuses throughout her life as well. She has an achieved status of a college education, ascribed status of being born a cisgender woman, and master status of becoming a mom and wife. In conclusion, many people have privilege and just may not know it. Gina ends her discussion with a very effective summary of intersectionality. She states, with intersectionality we are able to examine the various dimensions and degrees of discrimination, while also raising awareness to the results of multiple systems of oppression at work. Thank you for listening to this discussion on white privilege.